Welcome to the space between us. I'm your host, Christine Yeung, psychologist and founder of Weaver. This is a podcast about your social health and connections and what happens to them when you are building something that demands everything. If you are leading, founding, or building something ambitious and wondering how others stay connected to those they love and care, this is for you. Every episode, I speak with leaders and founders who share what it really cost them and what they learned along the way while building big things. Not your usual expert advice podcast, just truth. This is the space between us. Let's meet there.
Today, I would love to just share a few things with you solo. I will do this every few episodes. See this as a pulse check on trends in relationship, what I've observed, and on what is shifting in a way that we need to notice. And I want to meet you there in this space. And today, it's not going to be too long, probably it's 50 minutes. That's my aim. Share 3 key trends with you based on my professional observation and, the feeling of the energy that I've got working with Weaver clients and people who sign up for Weaver. What I notice is very interesting. The number one trend is that what I've noticed in the past, I think probably last year, particularly the last 12 months, I'm seeing in my coaching in Weaver, my clients get really frustrated and fiery rather than any other emotions. They come into the therapeutic room or coaching room angry and frustrated, whether it's towards their own partner, their friends, or to the system. When I deep dive into it, and mind you, this is a trend that I've observed and is increasing in my practice, is I think a lot of us are feeling the injustice. We are tapping into it, we are experiencing it, and a lot of us are in a way awakened to it. We weren't before. We are advocating. We are standing up for ourselves. We start to have the agency and voice. We're trying to change things systemically. And that's a great shift. And particularly in this day and age, is absolutely necessary for the world that we are living in. Yet what I'm observing is this, that fire energy, that there is a little bit of righteousness energy there is not being transformed into something more positive or make us even more connected. Somehow make our opinions more polarized and separated us even more. It becomes, if you disagree with my opinion, if you are not in my camp, you are them. So it's me versus you, we versus them. And it's getting more and more, particularly I observed after COVID, I feel like we are isolating even more into groups, more judgment, less patience, more frustration towards each other. We are divided into camps and we are doing in the name of justice. Sometimes I feel, and the name of being right, in the name of waking up people. But I dare to say what I've observed, even at an interpersonal level, we are losing the people, the very people we need to actually create systemic change. We are losing each other. And also because of AI, because of social media, this kind of binary thinking, I feel is like a virus. It's contagious. It's automatic. And we lost the connection. What get lost, to be honest, is the ability to disagree and still belong to each other. And how do we harness this fire? How do we keep the justice without losing people? The way to turn this fiery frustration and anger into connection, then transform it into actual systemic change, isn't by being nicer or softer. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's a skill of speaking your truth while showing vulnerability at the same time. It's a mindset knowing what your biases is. Your point of view is really just from your own lens. It's the courage to turn that defense into connection. Is knowing where you're seeing the world through a lens that might not be the whole picture. Be very aware of your own biases and name it. Say it out loud. Name it to the person you're in a relationship with. Name your uncertainty. Name your fear. Name what you actually care about underneath the position you are holding. And here is what I'm asking us to consider when we get really fiery and advocating for what we stand for is, we are on the same boat. We shouldn't be against each other. And even when we think about not at a systemic level between couples or between friends, we are a team. If I fail, you fail, the team fail. And I think a lot of us forget about this kind of team collectiveness, and as more of us gaining our voice, I feel we forget to allow other people to have their own voice to come in. I've been working with people, helping them to find their voice for many years, and I'm so glad now more collectively people found their voice and speaking up. And at the same time, I felt like while we are advocating, at the same time, we also forget human has free will. You can think differently. That's the beauty of humanity. And we forget to include all people. You know, the good old school debate that we debate and we respect each other, we disagree. And at the end is we moving towards a better solution, better innovation. And I think interpersonally and systemically, there is a huge fire energy. I cannot explain. People are angrier on the road. I'm really keen to hear what you feel about this, because I really feel like we are stepping into this fire and frustration that it lead to more violence, more than connectiveness, and leveraging that fire energy to do something good. If we are not careful, we may burn ourselves. That's the first observation. And the second observation is the speed of it. And what the three trends that I'm sharing with you today is interrelated. The second one is the speed of our opinion, our voice, because of AI and social media is spread so quick. And our mind almost is always stimulated and activated, and there is no quiet time. It's harder to have our mind to be quiet and no space to really reflect, contemplate, and develop that metacognition, thinking about what you're thinking. I think that's critical in mindfulness. Is critical in your cognitive development and self-awareness. And for example, I have more clients come, and even I'm noticing in myself as well, if I'm not careful, I get burned out easier, because remember the good old days without all the AI help. When we hit a roadblock in certain idea or proposal writing, whatever you are doing, when we hit that block, we kind of, let's have a walk, let's drop it, sleep on it. And now, no, you know, we get so impatient. I get so impatient. I just type it to chat. It's like, tell me now. I want answer now. And then they give me more information, and then you keep thinking. And it's good and bad. It's good in a way that, yes, you get things done really easily. At the same time, if you are not careful, that loop, it's not going to stop. That loop, if it's going to, at some point, is like, it's short circuit. It could be so easy to burn, because I don't know about you, but a lot of us get excited about information, by new ideas. And if we, like, I'm one of those. So if I keep doing it, I couldn't hear my own inner voice. There is no space between the stimulate and the response. No space. And it's forced you to make a decision right there, right then. And then to add more prompts and, you know, keep improving. And harder to find space to hear your inner voice, to hear your own intuition, instinct. How do you go about certain things? And this is really interesting, because the more we do it, it feels like that fuels the fire that we have, because everything is about optimization, everything about productivity. And I think one of the episodes that I interviewed Colin Beatty, the founder of the People Spot, we talked about it, how much we love technology. But at the same time, if there is a wish, we would like to cancel one of the features, which is 1.5 speed, watching any videos or listening to podcasts, because there is no quiet space. There is no slowness in processing information, let alone creativity, your own inner wisdom, in your inner voice. Those takes time for your subconscious to kick in, you know, and we almost forget about to take pause and sleep on it. The third trend that I've observed, I dare to say, this is the important one out of all three, I feel. The polarization, the quickness, the defensiveness, there is something else happening. I feel like instead of mental health crisis, which we have been talking about it for many years, we have a collective nervous system crisis. Now, I'm going to say something that may sound very controversial. So let me be very clear where I'm coming from. I've been teaching wellness, teaching self-care, meditation, well-being in workplace and private practice for almost like 20 years. So please don't misunderstand me when I say that. What I'm saying my client and honesty in myself is to keep up with being well, to get another meditation app, wellness retreat, 200 plant-based supplement, red light therapy device. The wellness economy almost getting us quite exhausted to keep up with, and is almost creating another class. Don't get me started with health equity. It's almost if you a lack of financial resources, you haven't got all this access. And I realize a lot of my clients are exhausted in getting that financial budget into doing more of this, into a more premium upgraded version of everything that they are doing. And I really start to rethink and worry about what we are doing, because I think back in few years ago, during COVID, I was looking at Australian national mental health status. It hasn't changed for 22 years. And that could be, many reasons, right? That could be, we have more well-established assessment in diagnosis. So more people got diagnosed, which is a great thing. Or we overdiagnosed as well. So, this will live for another episode, but I wanted to really talk about is what will make us well is not more app that you put it on your phone, or it's not more knowing what actually make us well. It's free. Those are the things that are free. Is nature. And if you are living in Australia like me living in Melbourne, we are very lucky. We have access to nature. Our instinct is so not turn on. We're so disconnected from our body, our primal instinct. Pleasure, play, completely disconnected. Laughter. And if you think you need another meditation app to do meditation, you do not need it. You only need silence. Go to a park, sit there, listen to tree moving with the wind. If you're Melbourne, don't tell me you cannot access to wind and tree. Okay, you can do that with a beanie on, whatever make yourself comfortable, sit there. Okay. And most importantly, it's meaningful and safe connection with each other. They are the natural medicine. They are what actually regulate our nervous system, not because they are trendy, not because someone sold them to you. It's because they are fundamentally being human. Back to the basic. If you have children, look at how children play. They play like creativity. The most basic toy, they can make it so much fun for them. And they can just play with the nature. And I really believe that some of us lose the capacity to sit in silence without reaching for our phone, to play without need to be productive, to create just for the sake of creating. I think that's a beautiful thing. Don't tell me you don't have creativity. Like, I have so many clients that create. I can't draw. Take out a paper and write, and free writing. Write about, if I am a pen. Try it. If I'm a pen, what do you do? How would you feel? That's creative writing for you there. Try 10 minutes. It is completely help your brain to recalibrate. Or if you can fly, think about all these really amazing things that kids can come up with like this, and get back to it. We're losing the instinct to trust our own intuition because we're too busy listening to what the algorithm tell us what to do. To regulate our nervous system, you don't need more app. But don't get me wrong, if you have access to them, congratulations, well done. But don't feel like all these things is solving the root. This is not going to solve the root. The root is embedded in your habit that you have silence and peace and safety and joy and play in your life. That is free. You can create all that, and that's free. So, and I think that's something that probably is quite controversial, but I'll just put it out there because that's stuck in my body for so long. I just want to share it. So this is just my point of view. I want to hear what you think. I really encourage you to share that with me. I really want to say that the answer isn't more. It is actually less, and it requires choosing the depth over productivity. And in a system that built on constant hustle, constant output, constant performance, that really feels radical. Trust that the medicine you need isn't for sale. It never was. Here, what I'm asking you to notice. Look for those moments where you are firer than you want to be. Notice the quickness. Notice when you are reacting instead of responding. And underneath all of that, ask yourself, is my nervous system actually feel safe right now, or am I performing while trying to survive in certain environment or certain contact or relationships? And if this lands, share with someone who is navigating their own space. And again, new episode drop every 2 weeks. Until next time, let's meet there.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If this conversation resonates with you, I'd love you to share it with someone who is navigating the same tension, someone who is building something big and wondering how to stay close to the people they love and care. All the links and resources we talked about are in the show notes. New episode drops every 2 weeks. And if you want to stay connected between episodes, follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. I share stories, insights, and reflections on social health and relationships to help you build stronger connections. Until next time, I will see you in the space between us.